Welcome back to the 6K Sports Sedan Challenge presented by Continental Tire, where today we're going to take a look at everything wrong with the Lexus. All right, everyone, as you saw in the previous episode, this is my 2004 Lexus LS430. And even though it was rated the most reliable car in the world by JD and Power & Associates, there are in fact quite a few things wrong with it, which might explain why I was able to buy it as cheaply as I did. That 6K challenge, of course, indicates the price that we paid for both cars. So I paid about 6K or 8K Canadian for this. Before I go any further, I want to point out this new hat, everybody, because this thing is nice.
Wow.
It's made of like this lightweight material. It's a flex fit. It's black underneath, so my thumbprints don't show on it anymore when I'm working on greasy old cars. So head on over to our Shopify store and have a look at that, as well as some other new merch that'll be going up there shortly, including some of the new stickers with our new artwork on it. And while I'm giving you a sales pitch, why don't you also just look down below there, find that little button that says subscribe on it, and just hit it. That's all you gotta do. And that way you'll never miss another LS430 episode or anything else we do around here. So with that said, let's take a closer look at all the things wrong on this car. As you guys would have seen at the end of the previous episode, these wheels, which are in fact a very desirable sport wheel, are in horrendous condition, but they're not as bad as they look because they've been plasti dipped, and that makes them look like the aluminum is just like literally bubbling off, but it's just because the plastic dip is failing. But underneath you can see they're also in pretty horrible condition under here, but as you get under where the plastic dip is still sealed, it's a weird color though. I think the previous owner told us that they had been painted gunmetal or something, or maybe they came in this color. I don't know actually, but
those definitely look painted.
Yeah, they do look like they've been treated somehow.
And painted poorly.
Apparently,
wow.
Yeah, it's weird, eh? It's almost like the paint was failing, which might be why he plasti dipped them, or maybe the previous owner did. I'm not sure if it was him or not, but in any case, these wheels will not be staying on the car. At the back, it's more of the same, just plasti dipped wheels. But at least the previous owner made the right choice on the rear tires, going with Continental's Pro Contact TXs, which are a very good all-season tire. But to keep up with Pete's M5, I am going to need more grip, and I'm going to need more tire width too. So I am actually going to step up to 19s because I'm a baller like that, and I'll be using a much stickier tire. You may have seen them in the previous episode, so if you haven't seen that episode, go back and that'll give you a good hint to what we'll be running on this car. This being an American car, it's actually originally from Florida. It's in remarkably good shape. There's really no rust to deal with on it, and the paint's in pretty good shape too. It obviously needs a big cleanup and polish and all that. And the headlights, of course, have yellowed. I mean, this is a 15-year-old car, so the headlights are definitely gonna need some attention. I think we'll probably give them a really good cut and polish. Over on the passenger side, you can see we've got a few issues going on here. One is this pillar on the doors has I don't know if there's like a vinyl wrap on here.
It looks vinyl.
It's peeling off here. I don't know if that's something somebody added, or did it come like that from the factory and it's just peeling off?
I think if you peel it up a bit, you'll see it faded out in that area, or it got like torn, and then somebody went and vinyl wrapped it, because you can see that. I don't know if you guys can
there's
see
a
this,
line
but
there.
there's like
You're
a
right.
line there.
You're right.
So where
somebody
the
covered it.
plastic or whatever cracked.
So there's normally like a plastic shield on there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
well,
somebody.
I mean, we can re-vinyl wrap that, and I think it'll look good enough.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if we can buy this piece or not. I'll look into that. But what I have ordered are new door handles, because you can see there's a section on the back here that's just got a chrome finish on it, but it's supposed to have a black finish that matches the paint on the top of it. So I've ordered that piece. Actually, I think I ordered a whole new handle from a wrecker, because you can see the paint up here is kind of failing on it too. So I think I have a whole new handle for here. And on the back, we have the same problem on this back section. So I bought a brand new back section from Aaron Mills Lexus. So thank you, Aaron Mills, for helping me out with that. You can also see the tint on the inside has been torn off here. That may have been my son. There was already a hole there, and he saw the hole and peeled it. So this got peeled off from the inside. It's also failing on the front driver's door. So I think I'm gonna have the car retinted. I do like the tint on a car like this. I think it's really nice both from a privacy and a style perspective. So I will retint that just so it's done properly. And that might be it really for what's wrong on the exterior. As far as what's right on the exterior, like I said, the paint's in good shape. I love that it's got LED taillights. I think those are really nice. The headlights are also HIDs, which were kind of a fancy thing back in 2005. They'll work much better when the lenses aren't so yellow and cloudy, but I think really that covers the exterior, so maybe we should jump inside next. Welcome to the inside of the most luxurious Japanese car in the world in 2005. And it does look a little 2005 in here, everyone, but I should mention off the top that these seats were designed to be like the first class seats in British Airways. They're meant to just kind of be, you know, like a big luxurious hug. And I must admit, they're very comfortable. They're also a million way adjustable. Even the headrests are power headrests. Have you ever seen power headrests before, PT?
I think I have.
That's a
I think my
touch.
German car has that too.
Okay, well,
maybe,
I
possibly.
was trying to outclass you there. But does your German car have this? Does it have a little thing that comes down above the rearview mirror to block the sunlight from trickling in over to the top of it?
Okay, I'll admit that is
next
pretty
level.
cool.
Come
That
on,
is
man.
very cool.
I've never seen that before. And there's lots of other little like cool things like this in here. Like under the seats, it's got these little cubbies, which, you know, if you were a Colombian, you might hide things in, but your average LS owner, oh, there's something in here. I've never looked in here before. What do we got here? Ooh.
Oh, come on.
That's maybe a good indication of your average LS owner. It even says it's zinc free, PT, so it's no good for your motor either.
You've bought an old man's car, and an old man actually did own it.
We'll fix that. We'll put something more exciting in here in the future. What about this side? Now I'm really curious because I've never opened this one either. Oh God, it's kind of jammed. What the heck is that? It's like
Is that a diaper?
It looks like a diaper.
Wait.
Oh, it's a Depends undergarment. It's a
Oh
man
my
size diaper.
goodness.
And it looks kind of brown.
Oh.
What is going on in here?
Okay, that's too much. That is too much. Oh, wow. Who does that, DP?
Woo! Well, if you're stuck at the golf club and you have an emergency and you need to make a quick change before you go in and get your clubs cleaned, I guess you do a change in the car, but that might explain why it smells the way it does in here. And be grateful it's not smell-o-vision, everyone, because it's never smelled good in here, and I think that might be the reason why. The interior does need a good cleanup, and now I'm gonna do an extra deep clean in here because that's a little disturbing. Other problems in here include the center armrest here. See how it moves forward and back like that? Not supposed to do that. And when you open it, which you have to push forward to open, and then when you go to close it, it won't close unless you grab it from the back and push it forward. I did a little research on this, and it's actually a super easy fix. There's just some bolts in here that have come loose, which is a common problem on these cars, so I can fix that. We'll show you in the next episode. Maybe not the next episode. We'll show you soon how to fix that. And also don't love the condition of the leather cover on this, but I can buy one on eBay for like 30 bucks. So we may try an eBay cover on here. I'm not sure the quality of it, but why not give it a shot? It's got all the things, and out back.
Also, hold on though, it also has a tape deck.
Oh, a
and
tape
that
deck.
to me is,
Not
like,
a
is that the
standout feature.
definition of old man?
It kind of
you know,
is. It's weird. I don't see a spot for CDs. Or is it under here?
Oh, there
here
you go.
We got a 6
Yes.
disc changer under here I forgot about. I've not used any of this. In the back here, I have limousine levels of leg room. It is actually really comfortable back here. And I've got a little mini bar here that is designed for beverages and so on. And in the ultra luxury version, there's a fridge option that goes back in here. I do not have the fridge. I just have like a pass-through, I think. I've never actually looked in here before, Pete. I can't seem to open that, but there is something there. I don't think it's a fridge. What else can I tell you? Oh, it's got little flip-down mirrors. Again, like British Airways, you've got little mirrors to check yourself out on, and you know, I can check my lipstick in there, which is always a nice thing. A couple of last random things going on in here includes a blue LED light in the door here with no cover on it, so don't know what that's about. And this though is super cool. Door pockets that come out. Does your M5 have that, Peter?
doesn't need that. I don't know why you would need that.
It's, you know, it's super handy because it's tight to get in there, and then when you open it up, you can fit stuff in it that actually is useful. And then so
Like your Depends?
like my Depends or my, you know, my pandemic masks, and then I can close it back up again, and it's not impinging on my roomy knees. I need lots of knee room, everybody. So, and it's got, you know, a nice little ruffled leather. Does your car have ruffled leather, Peter? I don't think so. Behold, everyone, the magical, the mythical, the moderately powerful 3UZ, or 3UZ as we call it here in Canada. It is, of course, a 4.3 liter V8, and it makes some nice power. It's rated at, I think, 290 horsepower and about 325 or so foot-pounds of torque. And it feels plenty fast when you're on the highway and you need to pass somebody. When you punch it, this thing really does go. And that automatic transmission that will trigger a lot of you know, manual transmission enthusiasts is actually surprisingly good. I don't hate the automatic. In this kind of car, I think it suits the character of it very well. We could, of course, manual swap it, but I don't know. I think I'm going to beat that M5 without doing a manual swap. That's how confident I am.
You're gonna need a lot more power.
Bones of this car, and yeah, we will address the power issue. But meanwhile, look at all this plastic, everyone. Like all modern engines, it's not that modern, but plastic everywhere. Nice huge sticker that says we only use genuine Lexus parts, and right next to it, there's a K&N sticker, which is not a genuine Lexus part. So with those plastic covers off, you can see the engine now, and boy, it's in good shape. There is no rust on any nut and bolt in this engine bay, which confirms that it is in fact a legit Florida car. Actually, I have the original bill of sale, which shows what dealership it's from in Florida that we'll show you in a minute, but just wanted to have a quick look at the air filter because I've given this car zero maintenance. I've been daily driving this for at least a month now. I did top it up with some of Valvoline's finest, but I've never looked at the air filter. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, it is a K&N filter, and it is filthy. So,
Like most K&N filters are.
yeah, I think we need to give that a wash and a re-oil, and we'll put it back in there. And as far as making more power goes, well, I'll just leave you with this teaser that this manifold may in fact be coming off the car. So you'll have to stay tuned.
You're
for
gonna put like
why
a
that
Holly
is.
unit on there and some nitrous to keep up with the
maybe a
M5 or
wet
what?
Injection? That's not a bad plan, PT. Oh, one other thing we did notice is you've got some pink leakage back here going to the heater core. So we have a bit of a coolant leak there. It's funny because I've never smelt coolant driving the car, so I don't know how old this is. It looks fairly recent though, doesn't it, Pete? So we'll have to do something about that, but that's a minor detail really. Overall, mechanically, this thing looks like it's in great shape. So that is the good news. There you have it, everyone. Your 2005 Lexus LS430 for a whopping 60,000 US dollars. And it's got all the details in here and what packages it has, including the luxury and convenience features. It's all stuff we talked about in the interior, but this mileage thing is actually a bit of a lie in a good way. I've been finding I've been averaging more like 25 miles per gallon, not just on the highway, but overall. So this is a remarkably fuel efficient, if not quite powerful enough V8 to compete with Pete's M5, but we'll fix that soon. Just jumping under the big Lexus here, and you can see we've got a little bit of a broken front under tray, but we're not going for perfection here. We're just going for sportier. We're going M5 hunting after all, so we want to make sure everything's mechanically sound under here. As I mentioned earlier, the brakes do need a full refresh because they're pretty terrible, but I want to check like all the ball joints and bushings and check for any sign of like wheel bearing play. But everything's looking good under here. You can see there's some surface rust, and this car has been in Canada for I think about 7 or 8 years at least, so it has seen a few winters. But overall, it's still in very good shape under here. Like, yeah, there's a bit of light surface rust, but nothing is rotten under here by any means. And I mean, as you can see, all the under trays are still in really good shape. Typically on a Canadian car, these would have rotted out around the fastening points and would have been rattling around and making it a mess. And like, look at the condition of the exhaust system. It's actually in really good shape too. So all in all, like there's no signs of any oil leaks under here. Everything's nice and dry. I don't think we're gonna have any difficulties taking off things that we want to take off, like the suspension and brakes. Sound-wise, I really would like the car to sound a little sportier. Like right now, it's very, very quiet, as you would expect from a luxury sedan. So we're thinking maybe this section here with the 2 resonators in it, which you can see clamp on here and here, we could remove and replace with just straight pipes, and that might give it enough sound with the OE mufflers to have it feel a little sportier without it being like droney or too loud. Because honestly, I use this car primarily for just like going on road trips with my family. My son mostly likes to go to the zoo on the weekend, so this is my zoo cruiser. I don't want it to be too rowdy. Out back, everything looks good. We are going to have to put some camber adjustability in the back when we lower the car. We want to be able to put the right alignment back into it. So we're going to get some arms back here to go along with the coilovers that we're going to put on it. The one thing I should mention is the rear shocks are, I think, blown on this car, because whenever you hit a high-speed bump, it really like thunks. And apparently that's a typical like sign of a worn out shock. So the rear shocks are bad, and the car kind of like floats down the highway. It's a boat at the best of times, but with blown rear shocks, you can imagine how bad it is. That's right, everyone. The rear sway bar is about the same diameter as my pinky finger. In fact, I think my pinky finger's got it beat. That is the tiniest, most pathetic rear sway bar I've ever seen in my life. So maybe that's something else we consider changing out. On the topic of adding some sound to this car, this still has the original Toyota mufflers, which are in remarkably good condition, but I guess the other approach we could take to add sound is leave the resonators in, but change out these mufflers, which are fairly large. They're not very deep though, they're only about this tall, but they're quite a large canister overall. So like we could change those out, and we don't want to go and spend like $1 million on some fancy Japanese VIP exhaust system, which seems to be about the only thing out there for this chassis. So we were thinking, you know, maybe a vibrant muffler here that we cut these off and weld in could do the job as well. Kind of like we did on our Corolla build, Pete. That muffler swap really added some nice sound to that car without it getting obnoxious because we left the rest of the exhaust system stock. So let us know if you're like an LS400, 430, 460 guy, and if you've played around with exhaust tuning, what the right setup is for like an affordable way to add some cool sound to the car without it being droney or too loud for daily driver or for family trips, that kind of stuff. Well, that is a wrap on this, what's wrong with my LS430. And actually, I do have one more gripe before we go, and that has to do with this smart key, which is turned out to be less smart than I would have hoped. It's supposed to open the car as I approach. It's a proximity key, it should open it. Oh, sorry, I didn't lock it, but if I lock it, oh, wait a minute, I can't lock it because the smart key is broken. It works on all the other doors, they're locked now, but this one will not lock when I trigger the lock on here. And that's because the door actuator in here is broken. So another thing that I've ordered off of eBay, I think it was, or maybe it was through our friends at LKQ across the street, I can't remember, but now to lock this door, I have to push this button over here and then slide the key out here, which is like a two-handed process. And now I gotta, like in the 1970s, do this. Not
Feels
great.
very German-esque. This is like a BMW problem.
Yes, it kind of is. It's a little surprising actually that Toyota, especially like their top-of-the-line Lexus at the time, has as many little electrical gremlins as this car has. I'm very confident mechanically this car is super sound, much more sound than Pete's M5 most likely, but a lot of little electrical gremlins. So, and none of them are cheap to fix either. So even though this car was rated so highly by JD Power and Associates, it has its share of issues, but it is 15 years old. So in the future, you'll see us fix all these fiddly little electrical problems, and you'll see us add a whole bunch of performance to this car so that I can try to turn it into can I call it an M5 killer? That might be a stretch, everyone, but maybe an M5 scarer. Let's hope at least for that. Man, these Gojacks are super handy for moving this big old barge around in the shop, but you do have to be careful when putting them in place. As you can see, it can be a little fussy, so don't damage your mint condition sport wheels, your super rare sport wheels. Don't do this, everybody. Do not do that.